I like the weekly format for this show, but I think there's so much news breaking right now, and I'm seeing so little coverage of it outside of on X and other social media that it's appropriate to give you guys some updates. So it came out that $241 million, dollars, a quarter of $1 billion almost, of taxpayer money was used to study transgender surgeries and treatments on animals. Not even on humans, transgendering animals. 241 million bucks. And then we have Representative Mace, Representative Nancy Mace in the House. She tweeted out 4.7 trillion. Yes, trillion with a T. The people responsible for this debt owe taxpayers every cent back. And then after a brief kind of moment where it seemed like Democratic Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania was actually supportive of what Elon Musk and DOGE and Trump are doing with this wave of transparency, he's gone back to just towing the line for whoever owns him because he's parroting this idea that Elon Musk wants to rummage through your personal data. And Musk actually replied to the senator. He tweeted back, bruh, B-R-U-O, or B-R-U-H, bruh, if I wanted to rummage through random personal shit, I could have done that at PayPal. Hello. Having tens of millions of people marked in Social Security as, quote, alive when they are definitely dead is a huge problem. Obviously. It's very bizarre that people on the left, that Democrats, this is their new holiest of holies. It's John Podesta's weird pizza emails that we're not allowed to talk about. And it's P. Diddy's freak off parties where people are covered in baby oil. And it's the trillions of dollars that went out the door going to dead people, and to interests and individuals and entities that are actually not tracked. Incredible. You or I get served with an audit if we fail to report more than $900 in random income from Venmo or PayPal. More than $900 in tips if you're a content creator, and if you forget to file it, you'll be audited. Takes months to deal with. And yet, for some reason, the $4.7 trillion that went out the door without any kind of designation, meaning we don't know what the money's used for. And this is their new holiest of holies. They're going to circle the wagons to defend this. I don't think these people are ever going to be voted back in at the executive branch level. Not for decades. Not until they have a whole new platform with whole new issues. Because defending this highway robbery is not going to be a winning cause with voters, especially not voters in the working class. So these Social Security rolls show that 3.5 million people between the ages of 140 and 149 were claiming Social Security payments. Obviously, that's not authentic. We don't have that many people in this country who are 140 to 149 years old. And then a whole 1.3 million people or individuals between the ages of 150 and 159 claiming Social Security payments. And then folks between the ages of 160 to 169 years old, 121,000 of those folks out there. Of course, this is fraud. We don't have people who are 169 years old in the United States or anywhere. Got somebody else on Twitter tweeting out a sum equal to 13% of our national debt went to untraceable recipients. And that's the reality. So the equivalent of 13% of our national debt went to people, and we can't even mock these people as we can with the surgeries for animals, the transgendering of random animals. At least there was a line that tells us where the money was going. In the case of this 4.7 trillion, it wasn't traced. It could have all been going to, the chupacabra for all we know. We have no idea where this money went. We got some doctor on Twitter saying in all caps, "Why do I pay taxes?" Someone else, Clint, can't see his full name on here because I'm reading from my phone, but it got a lot of retweets. Some guy says, after these DOGE disclosures, I feel like we absolutely shouldn't have to pay taxes. Until you can show where every penny went, you shouldn't get a penny more. This is my most moderate position. And then, of course, press secretary at the White House just said that Trump has directed Elon Musk to identify this fraud in the Social Security Administration. So it's not happening without the president's blessing. This is the reform and this is the exposure that President Trump wants. This is the draining of the swamp that did not occur for whatever reason in his first term. But just truly wild. The U.S. Auditor, the General Accounting Office, admits that for 26 years in a row, there have been, quote, material weaknesses in internal controls over financial reporting. Wow, to say the least. So they've been pushing trillions of dollars out the door. We have no idea where it's going. We don't know if it's going to terrorists. We don't know if it's going to countries that hate us. Just no line item at all, just money vanishing. This is fraud at the highest levels of government. And I've never been a anti-tax person. I've never been, a tax vigilante. But I think at this point, the people who are calling for a tax holiday, is that not the most logical and sensible outcome here? You don't have to get rid of taxes forever. That would be great. But just do a holiday, 1 year delay. Let everybody have 1 year in which they don't have to pay their taxes or they don't have to pay until 2026. That seems like the least this government can do because it's offensive. It's offensive to know that so much of our money, so much of our life force, if you work for your money, right? If you have a business as I do, or if you invest as I do, or if you just have a wage job, as many of the people listening have, if you convert your precious time on this planet into dollars, and then if you have to give half those dollars to the federal government, you would certainly hope that it's not going to transgendering animals and to transgender operas in Colombia and to adult male circumcision in Mozambique. You would really hope it's not going to these things, but it is. And this is the stuff we actually know about. These are, the things that have a line item attached and a description. For the trillions that went out the door, we don't even know where it went. And these people in Congress and in the Senate who are belly aching about this, every single person who took, let's say, more than $500,000, or to be even here, let's say any person who took more than $1 million through fraud, through pulling money out of USAID or these other programs, they should go to prison. And they should go to prison for the absolute maximum, because otherwise you're not going to restore confidence. The tax base will not be confident that their money is going to anything other than chaotic garbage and theft. Here's someone who's big on Twitter, Gunther Eagleman. What a name, right? This guy I always see in my feed. He's some right-winger. Gunther says, "Where was my Republican Party at while I was being robbed by our government to fund corruption over the past 2 decades? I thought we were the, quote, conservative party. Someone in the party has to be held accountable to make sure a complicit blind eye doesn't return." And I think Gunther makes a fair point, right? Where were the people in DC who are supposedly limited government? Where were they asking for an audit of the $4.7 trillion that left with no line item attached, no tag telling what the money's being used for? It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. Even when you write a check to somebody, you put something in the memo line, right, in the memo field. It's just absolutely outrageous theft with no accountability. And again, I think the most reasonable policy position would be a 1-year tax holiday. And that's a de facto stimulus for the American economy that won't cost anything, right? Because you're just simply not taking people's money for 1 year. Those people then have roughly 37 to 45% more money than they thought they were going to have this year. And that money will be spent in the economy. It'll be the stimulus that you just can't pull off with giving everybody $700 checks. Let people keep their own damn money for one time. You can do this without even passing any legislation. If the IRS answers to the Trump administration ultimately, which it does, they could publish a one-time rule, as it's called. They could do a one-time rule saying we're delaying everything by 1 year. That's it. You don't need Congress to sign off on a new law. That's all you would need. And I think people are so outraged and so disgusted that you're going to see very low participation this year. If they want to go through with just the normal process and everybody filing and everybody paying by April 15th, you're going to see really low participation, and it's going to it's not going to be good. Because once people see low participation numbers, it's going to encourage more people not to participate. And before you know it, this country's not going to have a tax base at all. And they're going to have to shut down even the defense programs, because who's going to pay for this stuff? I thought our money was going to like soldiers' food and their salaries and like jets from Lockheed Martin and stuff. I thought that's where all the money was going. But again, 13% of it, we literally don't even know who it went to or why or what it was paying for. Thank you guys so much, and be sure to subscribe so you get my emails throughout the week, as nearly 3,500 of you already do. Just go to fulcrumnews.com. fulcrumnews.com and click on subscribe to set that up. Only takes a few minutes. And that's it. Thank you guys.